After a sleepless night, I had hatched a plan. I had been tipped off that Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits fame was in town to record with the magnificent Nashville musicians. Hoping for free advice about who should sing on the demo session of my song, I invoked the Old Pals Act and begged him for an interview without telling him that I had a tape in my pocket. Not yet.
How did you first get interested in country music?
I'm not so sure that I knew it was country music when I first heard. And I suppose that really when I was a child I must have heard blues and country music without realizing that that's what it was.
Because I get the impression as an amateur that it's getting very, very mechanical and manufactured, especially with the video business.
You're getting the impression. I mean that's the understatement of the decade, I would say. It's an industry, all right, and it's a corporate business based around the radio, which is angled towards selling things.
One thing I've learned already in Nashville is if you've got a song you want to push, you've got to seize every opportunity, even if it ruins a friendship. So I want to tell you, I just happen to have a tape with me here of a song that I wrote, and I actually performed it at the Bluebird. I managed to get out alive. And I wonder if you could possibly see your way clear towards listening to it.
If love means brushing someone else's hair, then calling it a crime seems hardly fair. But when that's
Mark surprised me. He showed every sign of actually listening.
you pay the price with every kiss you share. She was someone else's someone.
It's a lot better than I thought it would be. I mean, you know, it's certainly different, Clive. It's let's see. Shall I just?
There's a lot more of it.
And then he really surprised me.
You should sing the demo.
Me?
Yeah, you should sing it.
But I haven't got a voice.
Well, of course you've got a voice, and everybody's got a voice. And I'm not a singer. I wouldn't say that. I just sort of stagger from one crisis to the next. And I think that you should. Your voice has got a, let's call it a raw and ragged quality to it, which is, I find it a lot more appealing than a lot of the deodorized cowboys that are out there on the radio at the moment. So why not, just seeing as it's a demo, just to give an idea of the song. It's a lot more intimate than just singing it yourself. I'm sure it could be done. I mean, you've got a few pitching problems, but who hasn't? You've got a sort of an interesting nasal whistle at the end of lines, which says the sound copes with your nasal hair, which is certainly interesting.
It's the voice of sinusitis.
And then he stunned me. Despite his heavy schedule, he offered to set up my demo session himself and, a daunting prospect, back me with his very own guitar.
But it'll be fun. Just do it yourself. Don't be too nervous.
Next day, the demo session was all set up at the famous RCA Studio A, whose floorboards were scarred by the spurs of Porter Wagoner and Waylon Jennings.
With you, I think you get a bit nervous.
Mark had obviously taken great trouble to study my song and pick out its high points.
This is the guy. 3 times.
He did this by firmly suggesting that I eliminate some of the low points. My song was getting shorter.
We get to the solo, weren't I? Correct, yeah. Then there's a solo.
Correct.
Nice.
Mark had hired the best sound engineers and session musicians in Nashville, which really means the best in the world. George was proud to be included in such an illustrious lineup. These characters knew what they were doing. It soon became painfully clear that I didn't.
That means...
Oh, God, sorry, I missed it.
It's just coming in on there, so if you know...
Do I sing first and then you thump in behind me, or should I wait till I hear something?
No, you've got to sing it. So if it keeps tempo there, basically.
If love means breathing.
So in other words, it just keeps time.
Yeah.
That gap keeps time.
I didn't know when to start, I didn't know when to stop, and the noises I made in between sounded like a desperate man apologizing for being alive.
I got lots of that. So
Did I leave the solo too early, did I?
Yeah, you went to the solo too early.
No, you should have had a chorus.
Yeah.
That's the solo where we just stopped.
1, 2, 3.
Just to make matters worse, Chet Atkins turned up. He told Chuck, the ace sound engineer, that my voice had something, but maybe the technology could get rid of it. Chuck replugged the control panel to minimize my nasal wheeze, and things started going better.
If love means brushing someone else's hair, then calling it a crime seems hardly fair. But when that someone else is someone else's, you pay the price for every kiss you share. If love means touching someone else's skin, it really doesn't seem that big a sin. But when that someone else is someone else's, I guess that might be where the sin comes in.
Then Mark reminded me why he had sold 85 million albums and I hadn't.
Someone else's someone, and I still set out to get her for my own. She was someone else's someone, but her conscience wouldn't let her heart alone. If love means breathing someone else's air, and knowing the next day she'll still be there, I need someone who isn't someone else's. I'll find her sometime soon, somehow, somewhere. I'll find her sometime soon, somehow, somewhere.
Yeah, great. For one moment of madness, I thought my singing was a triumph of hidden talent. Later on, I heard the playback and realized it was a triumph of audio engineering. But surely the song was okay. With the right man singing it, it could make 1 million. Why stop at 1 million? How about 85 million?
It really does.